Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. Before we will start our discussion, a Merry Christmas to everyone. I live in Vancouver, so in Vancouver getting this much snow is a very rare phenomenon, and right now while I'm talking to you guys, I'm looking out, it's all snow covered. So Vancouver has got very much blessed in the form of having a very snowy Christmas, and I hope that you are also having a very good time with your family, this Christmas vibes. And just because friends, the whole environment and the whole vibe is of holiday, of fun, of togetherness. So I thought, why should not we have our discussion on the similar topic only, something in the similar lines. So friends, in this video we are going to have our discussion on the concept of understanding the marital environment which you will be blessed with. So try to understand this thing, that whenever we talk about the contribution of D9 chart, for example, or the Navamsa chart, that can actually give you this information that what is going to be the underlying intention, what is going to be the dharma aspect, the prospects of luck, how many new doors of prosperity, of fortune, marriage is going to open for you. But when we talk about only from the perspective of looking at the concrete environment, tangible environment, the direction, the doors which marriage is going to open for you, for that we only have to give consideration to your main ascendant chart. And like the way friends, we say this thing that marriage is a effort, like the way it has been always depicted in the movies, that I found my soulmate, everything we found was happy and dandy. So trust me, ask someone who is already in a marriage for 10 years, 15 years, that in order to reach that state of perfection, there is equal level of efforts which is required from both the partners. And same is the way friends, even if you will take into consideration in our chart, the first house lord and the seventh house lord for everyone is and are the planets which have always got a neutral relationship. And specifically in the case of Leo and Aquarius, they rather have to put more efforts. In their case, the ascendant lord Sun and Saturn are arch enemy to each other. So now friends, the point which I'm trying to make over here is that whenever we talk about the direction which marriage is going to give to your life, so while doing the assessment of that, so there are few things which you have to take into consideration. So definitely Jupiter for everyone is a significator of prosperity, of luck, of fortune in the marriage. Venus is the significator of the love and the kind of commitment aspect you will find in the relationship. If you will find the ninth house lord in your chart to be in a strengthened state, that is going to give you this idea that definitely this person has got strong and high morals. The bond of marriage can remain intact. Like it can actually go through and endure and face all sort of vicissitudes, all sort of ups and downs which marriage is going to bring. Now coming specifically and bringing the focal point and spotlight to the house of marriage, which is the seventh house. So friends, that's very simple. When we talk about the planet which has got the say in your marital life, so that planet is your seventh house lord. Wheresoever this seventh house lord is going to be placed in, that is going to give you this idea which direction marriage is going to take you. And for that many times we get confused, that because we have to even see the correlation between your ascendant lord and the seventh house lord. That relationship, that distance becomes very important, because your ascendant lord and its placement in the chart is going to tell about your direction which life will take you. Now once a partner is going to enter your life, you are going to get married, so the path which marriage is taking you towards, so you have to find the symmetry over there. I have already said this thing, the relationship of the first house lord and the seventh house lord is definitely going to be neutral only, but basis their distance, are they placed 6, 8 to each other, are they placed 4-10 to each other? Are they placed 5-9 to each other? That is going to give you this idea that in your life, in your path, how much support are you going to get from the marriage, or is it going to be a marriage filled with struggle or compromises? So that is one way of looking at it. But now friends, in our today's discussion, we will try to understand the environment of your marriage, so that you get to know via looking at which planetary presence you're going to find in your 7th house. So that's very simple. Like, I would rather, if I were to give some account of my own experiences. So in my sister's chart, she has got Venus present in her 7th house. Even her 8th house lord is sitting in her 8th house lord is exalted. Saturn is exalted. She is a Cancer ascendant. So because of the Venus influence in her 7th house and the influence of the Venus in prominent nakshatras in her chart, even at the time when I'm making or having a Zoom call with her, so I see even her wall background in her home is all like pink colored. So my sister's father-in-law, he is very much devoted to art, to music, classical music. He take part in all sort of extracurricular activities. I should say this thing, even my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, he is also a very good-looking person. So I can fairly see that her whole matrimonial life is colored with the flavors of Venus. So much love, so much harmony, an active social life. So that is how, friends, you can get to know just by looking at the 7th house, which all planetary flavors and influence is over there. That is going to give you this idea that what kind of flavors are going to be there in your marital environment. So I just want to make it very clear over here. Right now, I'm not talking about where your 7th house lord is placed in. I'm just talking about just by looking at the planetary presence in your 7th house, you can fairly get this idea. So that is something which we will try to understand in this video. Now friends, for this discussion, there could be two exception, or there could be two like possibility over here. Like for example, if you will see that in your 7th house, there is no planet present over there. Your 7th house is completely vacant. So then in that scenario, and that in that case, your 7th house lord, whichsoever planet is going to be, that planet is definitely going to have a say. Second thing is that if you will find more than 2 or 3 or for example 4 planets present in the 7th house, then you cannot conclude that your marital life is going to have one distinctive flavor. It is going to get multicolored with every planet infusing its qualities and traits over there. So friends, now we will start our discussion. So let's say for example, if you will find Sun to be placed in someone's 7th house of marriage and relationship. So now here we are not concerned about whether Sun is dignified, whether Sun is exalted or debilitated. You opened up someone's ascendant chart, D1 chart, and you found Sun to be present in the 7th house. So definitely friends, when we talk about the environment of Sun has everything to do with the integrity, with being law-abiding, how much values you have, how much values you demonstrate in the relationship, your ethics. So all those things are definitely going to flavorize your house of marriage. Now there could be this possibility as well that either your partner is going to be very famous, or your partner is going to be somehow connected with the government or anything to do with politics, and somehow the prospects of self-respect and dignity and prestige is going to be very high if you will find the presence of Sun in the 7th house. Now friends, the only concern over here is that in the original Kalpurush Kundli, 7th house represents energy where like Sun goes through debilitation. So because of which there is definitely going to be all those kind of scenarios and signification where your partner and between you, the concerns of ego might on and off keep on coming over there. But apart from that, running into a matrimonial life, here we are just talking about the marital flavors and theme. So a lot to do with integrity, self-respect, your pride, your prestige is definitely going to be taking a say in your marital life. Now moving ahead, friends. Now let's say, for example, if you will find your moon to be present in the 7th house. So definitely, friends, it's a very good sign. That in itself tells about that to begin with, your partner is definitely going to be very emotional. And somehow, just because it is your chart, so wherever moon is present in our chart, our emotions, our feelings are attached to that signification of that specific house, specifically the living signification I'm talking about. So if you want to know from the perspective of the environment, so definitely, friends, in the marital life there will be a lot of exchange of the emotions, of the feelings, and I will not be surprised if after marriage you get this option to live close to sea. Like for example, I knew this thing that in my chart, my ascendant lord is very much strengthened in the 8th house, and I always knew this thing that I'm going to flourish and thrive more after like moving away from my birthplace and being close to the ocean, being close to the water. So that is something which we can get to know with the moon's presence in your 7th house. There is definitely going to be lot of emotions, there is going to be lot of feelings involved in the relationship, invested in the relationship, and along with that, when we talk about the home environment as well, so there is definitely going to be feelings which will always have a major say. So for example, like the way I always say this thing for the moon driven people, that they have very intense likes and dislike. So even in the marital life, even within either you, your partner, or even if you have a joint family, so there will be all those kind of entanglements, there will be all those kind of attachment in the relationship, where either you are very much attached to someone or you cannot stand someone. So that is how you will see things which will unfold in your marital life. Exchange of emotions, feelings, lot of travels, interest in art, interest in creativity. So that is how you will see your marital life and the environment or theme of your marriage. Moving ahead, friends. Now let's say, for example, the red flag finally. So if you will find Mars to be present in the 7th house, which is a red flag situation, I do not want to sugarcoat it. Because friends, when we talk about Mars, so out of all the 9 planets, Mars is the most inauspicious planet for anything to do with the house of marriage. Like this could definitely increase the irritability, prospects of bickering and fighting, too much of the desire, too much of the competition, too much of the heat going over there. And along with that, many times what happens is that you might get into competition with your own partner. Marriage is something about supporting each other to the best of their capabilities, rather than coming in the way of your partner by yourself competing with your partner. So the point which I'm trying to say over here is that the Mars's dignity needs to be over there, but apart from that, this is definitely going to heat up the prospects of the marriage or the house of marriage. So like the way I said this thing before when we were talking about the presence of moon in the 7th house, which has to do with the intense likes and dislikes. So when we talk about from the Martian contribution, this is definitely going to heat up the energy in a way that in a positive side, this could actually create the environment of the marriage in a way that your partner likes to plan lot of adventure, lot of travels. Your partner might have interest in collection of all those Martian things. When we talk about guns, we talk about all those your partner might have interest in going to gym a lot, or even within your home front you will see all those posters of the bodybuilders and that kind of energy of combative environment. So the marriage is definitely going to be filled with that. So there could be all those possibility that your partner might be connected with the armed forces, your partner might be connected with the policing or the law related connected fields. So that is how you will see that energy, the desires, the competitive spirit is definitely going to be high in the house of marriage. Depending on the dignity of the Mars over here, it is going to give you this idea that this force of the Martian energy is going to be used to defend you or to come in the way by competing with you or increasing your desire to an extent where it is going to create a disharmony in the relationship. So that is how, friends, you can see the presence or the flavors which Mars is going to bring in your marital life. And one more thing, friends, which I want to clear over here is that many times we misconstrue the signification of the planet Mars. Definitely, if one side of or negative vulnerable side of Mars is being resentful. So the positive side of Mars represents loyalty as well. So trust me, if your planetary presence is going to be dignified in this house, you can actually run into a very defensive, a very protective, very loyal partner as well. Moving ahead, friends, now let's say for example, if you will find the presence of Mercury actually physically present in your 7th house, so that is a very good sign, friends, because Mercury has everything to do with being very jovial, being very travel oriented, being very curious. So the Mercury's presence in the 7th house can be seen as a very good sign, like you might run into, or your marital life might have the flavors of lot of travels, being very intellectually driven, lot of hobbies, lot of activities. So like for example, if I were to say being an artist, being a content creator by myself, I keep on running into all those people like where the couple, they by themselves, they both are performing artists. Even over the weekends, either they are traveling or they are taking classes to different foreign languages or different skill, dance classes, gym classes, language classes, acting classes. So that is how you will find the theme of your matrimonial life. These are the kind of flavors which Mercury is going to put in over there. I have already mentioned this thing. Right now I'm not concerned about where the path of marriage is taking you. I'm just only telling you about that the basis planets' innate nature, what kind of qualities it is going to bring over there. When we talk about Mercury, Mercury is a very impressionable planet as well. Mercury is a planet which is considered as a very, like out of all the planets, when we talk about being very young, so youthful, so youthfulness is always attached with the Mercury. So there could be all those possibility that your partner might have, like you both might be in the middle age, but still your partner has interest in skateboarding, in biking, and you might have all the skateboards and all these kind of artistic and creative things collection at your home front. So that is how you will see the marriage is going to unfold. These are the kind of flavors which you will find in your house of marriage or within your matrimonial life. Moving ahead, friends, now let's say for example, if you will find Jupiter to be present in the 7th house, which is one of the most auspicious combination. So that in itself, friends, tells about that your marriage and your partner is definitely going to be very righteous. Even within the marriage, the flavors of righteousness, being very optimistic, being very driven, inspiring you to the best of your capabilities. And when we talk about the whole environment, so marriage might and your partner might want to decorate the home with the religious symbol. He wants to fix up a time for prayers, a place for prayers. So religious vibes, very optimistic vibes, very auspicious vibes, and very protective vibes. Like the way we say this thing, that being an astrologer, if I open up any native's chart and if I'll find any affliction over there, the first thing which I will look for is, where is Jupiter? Is Jupiter aspecting this house? So that is how we get to know that, because Jupiter, not only in its aspect there is a protective grace, but even where it sits, so that is a house which is always protected, and the divine communicates with you over there. For example, whatsoever righteous auspicious deeds we do, the result of those deeds first touch our life from the house where Jupiter is present over there. So this can be seen as one of the most auspicious combination. Moving ahead, friends, now let's say for example, if you will find Venus to be present over there in your 7th house. So definitely, friends, like the planetary presence also tells about the physical traits of the partner as well. So partner is going to be very good looking, very harmonious, very loving, very caring, interest in art, beauty, creativity. And when we talk about all those planetary presence which gives you expansion in the life, so Jupiter and Venus majorly have a very strong say over there, like because obviously we want to get into a marital tie where, or be with a partner who is helping and expanding us, who is helping us stretch, expand and grow in life. So the Venus's presence actually works as a saving grace because of your partner's so much harmonious nature, that it is actually going to expand your social life as well. So lot many celebration, parties, and having a good taste in decor, a very loving personality. So that is how you will see the flavors which you will find in your marital life, or within your relationship, deep committed relationship, if you will find Venus's presence in the 7th house. Now friends, let's say for example, if you will find Saturn to be present over there in your 7th house, to begin with, it is a good sign in this regard that Saturn could delay things, but Saturn keeps the things intact. So I will not be surprised if your marriage gets delayed, but once you will get into a marital tie, there is going to be strong possibility that marriage will stay protected, marriage will stay intact. When we talk about the signification which Saturn represents, so definitely your partner could be little bit elder to you. There could be little bit of the age gap over there. Your partner could be very much business driven, very much career driven, very ambitious. And when we talk about the degree and sense of seriousness, that is definitely going to be over there. So trust me, you could be a person who is like very moon driven, who could be very youthful, like Mercury driven, but once you get into the marital tie or you get deeply committed in a relationship, the life's seriousness will start coming into the play. And I always say this thing, friends, that let's say for example, in whichsoever house Saturn is present over there, you have to be very, very cautious and careful regarding the signification of that house. Many times what happens is that just because for the sake of that everyone wants to get married, I am young, and like for the sake of society, for the sake of any XYZ reason, you got into marriage, but you are not responsible enough to understand the integrity or the kind of sacrifices or the responsibilities which comes with the marriage, and your casual attitude regarding the matters of the house where Saturn is placed will get very severely punished later on in life. So it becomes very important that if Saturn is present over there in your 7th house, definitely the prospects of marriage is going to be intact, it's going to be protected, partner is going to be mature, partner is going to be very responsible, very career driven, but along with that, the degree and sense of responsibility needs to be there in the house of the marriage. So that is how you can see Saturn infusing its qualities. Now friends, when we talk about the prospects of the Rahu and Ketu, so definitely now if you will look at it from the perspective of Rahu, so Rahu represents unpredictability, Rahu represents eccentricity, but the good part and the beauty of the Rahu in our chart is that if Rahu is going to present over there in your 7th house, marriage is definitely going to open up so many doors for you which you might not have even imagined. So that is how Rahu manifolds, because of the innate curiosity of Rahu. Rahu just wants to expand, he wants to try things, he wants to explore things. Marriage might take you to foreign land, you might run into someone who is completely foreign to your custom, foreign to your culture, but this is what is the essence of the life, is to grow, to expand. So in terms of growth and expansion and exploration, innovation, being very out of the box, so that is how the marriage is going to unfold now in the form of the home environment, in the form of the traits of the partner, and like the way many astrologers also connect Rahu with the in-laws as well, apart from the 8th house which represents that. But yes, many astrologers also connect Rahu with the significator of in-laws as well. So there could be all those cases if you are living in a traditional custom community, that your in-laws might have a major say in your marital life. So in whichever way you try to understand or look at it, but definitely the presence of Rahu is definitely going to manifest in a way that marriage is going to take you on a ride of exploration, innovation, and new journeys, new open doors. The only vulnerability is that if you will find Rahu to be in a malefic presence, and Rahu overall is not a auspicious planet for you. Like for example, in my case, my Rahu's presence, my moon nakshatra, and all the if I'll include everything, Rahu is a very important planet for me, and whatsoever I have achieved, I have only achieved because of the grace of either planet Saturn or Rahu. I have a strong Aquarius presence in my chart, and Aquarius is co-ruled by Rahu and Saturn. So it all comes down to your own assessment that how Rahu has functioned in your life so far, because the negative side of Rahu also represents dependency on the intoxicants, mental anxiety and psychological problems. So it all comes down to the way Rahu's energies are functioning or working in your life. But yes, Rahu's presence can actually give you or make your marital life in a very like a very exotic kind of very new age innovative kind of style, theme and relationship can be foreseen in your matrimonial life. And lastly friends, let's say for example if you will find Ketu's presence in your 7th house. So friends, when we talk about Ketu, so definitely Ketu has everything to do with the past. So karma is something which you cannot evade. So there could be those cases that some sort of past life karma, past life unfinished business might manifest in this life with your partner. Ketu's presence also, definitely Ketu brings the qualities of being very spiritual. So your partner might not have interest in your religion, the organized religion, but your partner is going to be very intuitive, very driven to the soul. And the good part and the beauty of the Ketu's presence in the 7th house is that whatsoever is going to happen in your life, your partner will be completely in tune with that. So being very perfectionist, being very spiritual is somehow the energies are going to manifest in your matrimonial life. Karma or the past fruits will manifest in the house in the form of the relationship with your partner, in the form of the overall journey and the environment which you will come into. I always say this thing friends, houses can be looked at in a way that for example there is a locked room, you have the key, you unlock the door the moment you entered the house. So the planet is going to give you this idea that what kind of decor you are going to find, what kind of environment you are going to find. So that is the qualities which planets infuse when they are sitting in a specific house. So this is something friends which I wanted to say as a Christmas gift to all of you, that how the relationship and the planetary vibrations and energies contribute in the most intimate and the most close to our heart aspect of the life, which is the house of relationship and marriage. So for further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page. Dhanyawad.